Thank you, Colleen. Tonight on Long Island Talks, new calls to reform benefits compensation for some county employees. Tonight we'll speak about this issue with the Nassau County Controller and the head of Nassau's largest union. 516-393-1800 is the number. Long Island Talks starts right now. Welcome to Long Island Talks, the show that lets you weigh in on the big stories of the day. I'm Lee Tyrell. Nassau County's financial problems were thrust into the spotlight when NYFA decided to step in recently, and some feel that county worker compensation is one of the major issues. For instance, some Nassau cops recently received a six-figure retirement package thanks to a lot of unused sick and vacation time. News 12 Long Island's Jill Wagner takes a look.
It's unfair. It's just a waste of money.
Jessica Brooks of East Williston is outraged. Her tax dollars are going towards six-figure retirement packages for cops.
It's ridiculous.
According to the Comptroller's office, among the 115 officers who retired last year, the median payout was $338,000. The retiring officers took advantage of an early retirement incentive plan that helped reduce the county payroll. But they also cashed in their accumulated sick and vacation time, which dramatically boosted their retirement package. The Comptroller says more than half of that total payout went towards the redemption of unused sick and vacation time, and he says that is simply unsustainable.
The fact of the matter is that, those are benefits that are out of line with the private sector.
And in the private sector, most people aren't allowed to save vacation and sick days until retirement. The rule is, use them or lose them.
I think there's a happy medium that can be met.
PBA President James Carver says the high payouts are a one-time event triggered by the county's new incentive plan. Some residents say cops deserve all the benefits they get.
You're putting your life online.
But the super payouts have Craig from Mineola rethinking his career.
I should have been a cop. Wow. I had no idea.
Jill Wagner, News 12 Long Island.
The Nassau Controller says the retirement incentives offered last year to police officers and other county employees will save Nassau $17 million this year alone. That is according to the audit that George Maragos did, and he thinks that some other changes also need to be made to save the county money. 516-393-1800 is the number, or you can post a comment on my Facebook page. Joining me here tonight in the studio is Nassau Controller George Maragos, and also with me Jerry Laracuda, President of Nassau County CSEA Local 830. CSEA Local 830 is Nassau's largest union with 10,000 members. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
George, bless you for putting this report together, because looking at all those numbers that you came up with just gave me a headache. So you having to put it together, what a job. So the Nassau County Executive ordered you to do this audit as a way of looking to see how much Nassau County would save with this retirement
no, that's not correct. That's an initiative that the county can do, that I undertook.
That you undertook. Okay, so what did you find?
To determine that whether the early retirement plan that was offered to employees last year was worthwhile and would result in actual savings to the county.
All right, so what did you find?
And actually we did find that although the county spent $57 million in payouts, it will actually take back about $85 million for a net savings of about 28 million, of which 17 million will be realized in 2011 alone.
So the savings take us up to what, about 2016?
2020.
2020, okay.
Correct. And actually, those savings are likely to go even higher because the county executive has not hired back as many of those employees, replacement, as was anticipated.
All right. At the same time, you came out in the report and said, look, we have got to start looking at some of these other benefits that are costing us a lot of money and trying to get them more in line with the private sector.
That is correct. We cannot have our taxpayers that are having less benefits being paying for the benefits that are enjoyed by our county employees. Mm-hmm. So it's a question of fairness. Now, I must say that the benefits that are being given to the county employees have been earned, and they were negotiated in the past. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we should honor those contracts.
Right.
But in going forward, we have to reconsider. We have to ask the unions to come back to the negotiating table and put together a package of benefits similar to those being provided to the in the private sector.
All right. Just as we said, Jerry Larakutis with CSEA Local 830. In fairness, Jerry, I think it was only 2 of the CSEA employees involved in this wound up with a retirement incentive of over $200,000 or along those ways. So really it was more concentrated on police retirement, these higher numbers than CSEA. But you know, the benefits paid to county workers, and that includes CSEA, are in the spotlight. What do you think?
Well, I think it's unfair. Listen, you know, obviously, we get it. All the union leaders get it. We understand. We're not devoid of understanding that we're in a national crisis. New York State certainly has a $10 billion deficit. Nassau County is, of course, once again in trouble. And this union and the other unions in Nassau County have shown time and time again our willingness to come to the table, help the county executive, and make changes in our contracts to help the taxpayers. You know why? Because we're the taxpayers too.
I was going to say, yeah,
We pay
you're all
taxes
paying
too.
taxes as well.
We don't want to see Nassau fail, but I think it's unfair, and this is what's going on out in the Midwest. When
Are you worried about what's happening in Wisconsin?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
worried about
yeah.
it, because what's happening out in Wisconsin is they're blinding the middle class against the middle class, and it's not about saving money in the budget. That governor is being disingenuous, absolutely. Governor Walker and Mr. Christie, they're not about saving their state budget. What they're trying to do is destroy unionism and destroy collective bargaining, and that's all politically driven. I'm a Republican, so let's get that out in the air right now. I'm a registered Republican, but I'm telling you, their motives are, for one reason, to cut the funding of the
Wisconsin's governor
Democrat.
is a
That's it.
Republican.
That's what
Okay.
it's about.
All right, let me ask you, George, when we talk about employee benefits for people, including those in Jerry's union, what type of benefits are expensive to Nassau County? We're talking about health care and pension mainly?
Well, those are huge expenses,
big numbers.
and health benefit costs increased double digit, 13.2% this year. They're expected to go up again double digit next year. Pension costs went up about 16% on average this year. The state controller has advised us that next year they're going to they're going to average 20% greater. Those types of increases are unsustainable.
Unsustainable, yeah.
They will be destroying jobs if they are allowed to continue.
That's what I keep hearing from every elected official, Jerry, on the county level and on the state level. I've heard Mr. Cuomo say it, I've heard Mr. Levy say it. Unsustainable. What we're doing right now is unsustainable. We just can't afford it anymore.
Yeah, that's the key word. That's the radioactive word, unsustainable. And we get it.
Unsustainable.
And you know, but you can't make change overnight.
That's true.
You know, things have to be done in steps. And unions, you know, we are not very, the people I represent in CSEA, no one's going to become a millionaire in CSEA.
But you know, nobody calls me up and says, when we do these shows, and says, "Please, I'm angry about the salary." What they're worried about are the perks. When they hear that some employees are not paying for their health benefits, when they hear that some employees are not paying into their retirement, and taxpayers are paying all that, when they're paying their health care and their retirement too. Then they hear these numbers about these big buyouts, these big retirement buyouts, because somebody in their last year of work accrued all this unused vacation and sick time to try to get around the system, and that's where the taxpayers
It's
get
funny you
angry.
should say that, because actually that was a management proposal many years ago, believe it or not. This whole thing about accruing time. Some industries accrue time, and some industries don't have a limit. You can use as much sick time as you need.
Yeah.
We can't. If we run out of sick time, we don't get paid, and we lose our health benefits. And the controller can back this up, if I have 20 sick days on the books, and God forbid I get hurt and I'm out 30 days, I have to get back to work pretty soon, because when I'm out 30 full days, no pay, I lose my health benefits.
Well, George, let me ask you, are the benefits more plentiful for the police unions than they are for the CSEA workers in the county?
They are different.
Are they more
Obviously, the
generous?
police people, the police
different
officers,
contracts,
they're
yeah.
different contracts. They make a lot more money than the CSEA. They're allowed to accumulate more vacation time
more
and sick
unused
time,
sick time, okay.
and their work rules are different.
Okay. But you'd still like to see some changes, not only for the police unions, but also for CSEA as well?
Absolutely. I think everybody should come to the table. We're all of us are in this together. We got to make the county work. We have to keep it solvent. We can't ask the taxpayers to pay more taxes. So everybody has to come to the table and bring the salary and benefits up to the 21st century.
And you say more in line with the private sector.
Correct.
Okay, let me take a look at what our viewers are having to say. I got a long list of phone calls. Tom from Massapequa, you're up first. Go ahead.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, go ahead.
My question is, or I should say my statement concerns the termination benefits primarily and the payouts. I think there should be a cap on what you're allowed to accrue and cash in sick time wise and vacation wise. Also, I think what needs to be looked at is the fact that they can artificially inflate their salaries by working a lot of overtime the last couple of years. In addition, they can retire after 20 years. I don't begrudge them that. However, I think this should be tied to an age as well. For example, 20 years you've earned your retirement, but you can't draw until, say, 55. Because if you think about it, the way the longevity that people live to today, you should actually have 3 people in retirement and 1 actually filling the slot.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your take on it, Tom. Let's go to Jim from Massapequa. Hi, Jim.
You.
Hi, go ahead.
Good. I'm Jim Castellano, the president of the Building and Construction Trade Council. I represent 65,000 construction workers.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Mr. Boggs. How are you?
Hi, Jim.
My question is, I sit here and I want to commend these police officers. I'd like to know what it would have cost if they took all of their sick days and you guys had to pay overtime when they weren't there.
That's a good question.
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, these guys should. How many years? They're not saying how many years they went without taking all their sick days. Suppose they went 25 years and they didn't take their sick days. I think what you're saying is sending the message, hey, guys, take all of your sick days. No worry, we'll fill it with overtime slots.
All right. What about that? Because overtime cost, George, is certainly a concern. So if you do take your sick time and all your vacation time, what does the county do then?
Jim, the sick times are supposed to be a benefit to employees that are sick, not to be abused. Secondly, similar vacation times are supposed to be a benefit for people to get away from the.
It's good for you to take
It's good for you. Get away, re-energize yourself, and come back and be more productive.
More productive, yeah.
So I think those are those were the intentions of those benefits. Now, to address, Jim, your specific question, if we need higher staffing in order so that we don't force people to accumulate to come to work when they're sick, or to give up their vacation time, then we should increase the staffing levels,
okay, well,
hire
that's
more
another
people.
show about whether we should increase police staffing in Nassau County. But Jerry, when Jim was talking, I saw you shaking your head.
Yeah,
there.
because he hit it right on the head. That's what I was trying to say. At one point, this was a management proposal back in the 70s when they introduced this accrual of sick time, because the idea behind it was to not have workers banging in sick, as we say. Go to work. And that causes less overtime. So it's a more efficient force, it's more efficient CSEA workforce and a police force. Now, there's a reward at the end of the day after you do your 20 or 25 or 30 years in our case. However, there's a reward. There's an incentive for people to come to work, be efficient, do their job correctly, give the residents and the taxpayers what they pay for in their taxes. And the reward is, if you come to work all the time, you'll be able to cash out some money. Now, if there's a problem today because things have gotten out of hand, well, then we got to talk.
I got to ask you point blank, would you agree there's some abuse in the system?
I don't know. I would not agree that there's abuse. I would not agree that there's abuse. I would agree that we need, I'm not saying that we shouldn't sit down and talk about things and see if we can figure out a responsible answer for everybody, but I don't think anybody's abusing. And you know, Lee, not for nothing, the CSEA workforce, the police force, these are professionals that really take pride in their job. And to say things like abuse, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but to say things like abuse to them, it really doesn't just anger them.
I'm just giving to you things that I have been told, that people think there is abuse in the system. So that's why I'm asking you point blank. All right, hold on, George, one second. And what's your take on this? 516-393-1800 is the number. We'll hear from George and take more of your calls when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Long Island Talks. Tonight we're talking about an audit done by Nassau County looking into the financial impact of some employee benefits and payouts to Nassau County. Here with me, the man who did that audit, Nassau Controller George Maragos, and also Jerry Laracuda, President of Nassau County CSEA Local 830. On the line from Elmont is Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Go ahead.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling in.
My thoughts on this, it's like I was saying before, my brother-in-law's a policeman. He works in the city.
Okay.
Now, their life's on the line a heck of a lot more than people in Nassau County.
Okay.
Let's face it. His pay is so bad. He lives in Suffolk County. They don't get increases like this. And that's number one.
Okay. Number two, quickly, go ahead. I want to get some other calls.
I believe that the money is going in the wrong hands. I'm living in Nassau County 59 years. I see what's going on with the county workers and with the state workers. Their money is going in the wrong hands.
Okay. All right, Sandy, thank you so much. Let's go to Linda from Long Beach. Hi, Linda.
Yes, hi. How are you?
Hi, go ahead. Are you a county or state worker?
I am a county worker.
County worker. Okay, go ahead with your comment.
Okay, my comment is simple, and I just want to say, as far as the time and leave issues, these accruals are vital. The accruals are necessary with the sick and vacation time, that we save them if we can, because I don't think the public realizes, as Jerry said in the beginning of this, that if we exhaust our vacation and sick leave and there is a catastrophic illness, unlike the private sector, we lose our health insurance. And that is very important, so I think that needs to be considered, and I think people should know what we are dealing with.
We got that out there. Jerry said it, and you were able to back that up as well. Let's go to Farmingville. Paulette's on the line. Hi, Paulette.
Hi, Lee.
Go ahead.
First of all, my comment, first I'd like to say I'm a retiree of New York State after 42 years.
Wow, okay.
And I also am an ex-union CSEA official, so I can speak. I'm familiar with all aspects of it, but tonight I'd like to speak specifically to the police department.
Okay.
Those numbers are out of sight. My question or my statement is, for vacation time, with such a stressful job, I would think that the police officers would be encouraged to use their vacation time rather than accumulate it with such a stressful job. They should be encouraged to have some time off. And doesn't their sick time go towards their health insurance, be converted into money as the state employees do? How do they get paid for it rather than as the retirement systems, when they retire, doesn't it get converted into money as CSEA employees do?
I don't know, George, can you answer that?
Well, when they retire, they get a lump sum payment for their accumulated sick time.
Okay. I got to ask the both of you, I got less than a minute left. Where do you think, Jerry, we're headed here?
Well, I think we're headed, unfortunately, in a very sad time in our country here, where we have middle class versus middle class. One point I would love to make, Lee, if you just give me a second.
I'll give you 20 seconds.
$10,000 tax bill in Nassau County. If you rid yourself of every CSEA worker out there with their pension and salaries and benefits, your tax bill would be $9,700. So it's only $300 out of a $10,000 tax bill pays for every single county worker in Nassau County.
Right. You want to respond to that, or do you want to just tell me where you think we're headed now?
No, I think this is a great opportunity for both labor and the county administration to get together and put together a package of benefits that are affordable to the taxpayers and they're are also fair to the county workers.
All right, and I will talk to you both again about this issue and see where it goes from here. George, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Jerry, always a pleasure. Thanks for your calls, everybody, tonight, too. If you want some more information on this topic, visit our website at news12.com. Click on numbers and links. Have a good night.